Okay, so now we know how to build the side-by-side layout. So let's move on in this lecture to understand how to build a bit of complex layout when compared to side-by-side layout. Okay, so this is the layout which we are trying to build. Okay, so here the text should be one below another, and there should be another text here. Okay, and this text has to be centered. Okay, so all this should look like one block. Okay, so if this is the requirement given to us, so how do we achieve this particular layout using Flexbox? Okay, so that we will see it now. Okay, so let's move on to this code pen. Okay, so then let's think, right? So the first step is to write the HTML code. Okay, so when we are writing the HTML code, how do we need to think? Okay, for this layout when we are trying to implement it using Flexbox. Okay, as I told, always think in boxes. Okay, so what is the topmost box you are seeing? So this entire thing is one block. So all this text is wrapped under one block. Okay, so we need to define that block first. Okay, so let's go to CodePen and let's add div class equal to container. Okay, and let's close this div. Okay, so I have defined now this topmost block. Okay, what is the next block I need to define? Right, so always go horizontally and see what are the blocks which are aligned side by side. Okay, if you see here, right, these two blocks and this block is aligned side by side. So I'll just highlight these boxes. So this is one box and this is another box. Okay, so if I see what are the blocks I am seeing which are aligned side by side, right? So this is one block which is there, and besides this block, this is another block which is there. Right, so first I need to define these two blocks. Okay, this block and this block. Okay, how do I define that? Okay, so I'll say again div class equal to left block, right, and I'll just copy paste this one. Yeah, and I'll say right block. Okay, so now this block and this block I have defined in HTML. So what is the next step? So if I see in the left block, right, I am seeing two more blocks here, right? So I need to define these two blocks. Okay, so let's go to the left block again, and in this block I need to define the class equal to, and in the left block it is topmost, so left top block, right? So this is how I define one block, and I just copy paste, and this is left bottom block. Yeah, okay, so I have defined the left top block and left bottom block, which are these two. Okay, so let me highlight these also. Okay, so now everything is done. Like I have defined this topmost block and the wrapper block, like the container block I have defined, and in that I defined this block and this block, and I have defined in this block the top block and the bottom block. Okay, so everything is defined as far as HTML is concerned. So now let me copy paste the text here. So this has to go into the top left top block, and this, okay, and this text has to go into the bottom block, left bottom block, and in the right block this has to go. Okay, so this is my code. So if I see here, uh, right, there is no different whatsoever. Everything is aligned one below another. Okay, so let's add some borders again to understand like how these are aligned. Okay, so I say container, and then for container I give border 1 pixel solid black. Okay, so I got that border. So then I'll give some padding 10 pixel. Okay, I have got that padding also. So then let me define this left block. Okay, so this left block I will define the border again with a different color. Maybe I'll define it as green. Okay, so if you see, this is the total left block. Okay, uh, which we are seeing it in green. So I'll make it 2 pixels so that it is visible. Okay, so that is the left block. Okay, so then let me define the right block also. Okay, this is the right block class. So let me define this class too. So I'll copy paste this border. Okay, and let me define it as red, or let me have it as green only. Okay, okay, so now if you see, this is the right block, but it is not appearing right. They are one below another, but this is supposed to be the right block. Okay, so then two other blocks are remaining. Let me add borders for them too. So this is the left bottom block and top block, right? So I have just two blocks. Okay, so again I'll copy paste the border. Okay, and I'll say red here. So let me go back to 1 pixel. Okay, so that is the uh, bottom and this is the top. So let's add some padding also here so that all our blocks are visible. Sorry, borders are visible. So I have added the 10 pixel padding here. Okay, so if you see that black one is the topmost container div. Okay, in that this green one, whatever we are seeing, is the left block, and this one which we are seeing is the right block, and this red block which we are seeing is supposed to be the top block within this left block. Okay, and then this is supposed to be the bottom block within this left block. Okay, so now all we need to do is just add the flex box and add the flex directions for this in order for them to align. Okay, as we have seen in the last lecture, if we have to define anything regarding the child, we need to add the flex box in the parent, right? Like for example, this entire block and this entire block. Let me highlight this. Okay, if you see this entire block and this entire block are side by side, right? So this alignment of these two blocks I have to define in the parent container block, right? Because these two blocks, whatever I'm seeing, are wrapped under this parent. Okay, so I need to go to the container block which is wrapping everything, and I need to say that whatever blocks are there within this container block has to align side by side. Okay, how do I say that? I'll come to this container and I'll say display flex and flex direction row. By default it is row, but I'm just specifying it explicitly. Okay, so immediately these two blocks, the left block and right block have been aligned side by side because both of these blocks are under container block. Okay, so they are aligned side by side now. So first task is done, right? So these two blocks by default will be aligned one below another because the div is the block level element. So they are already aligned one below another. So we need not worry about these things. Okay. So this is how you will achieve that complex layout. But if you still have to specify this explicitly, right? You can still do it. Okay. So if you add the display flex here. So now if you see the display flex is row, so immediately where did we give this? In this left block. What is the left block? This entire block is the left block. And what are the child elements in this? These two. So once you gave the display flex and flex direction row, these two elements got aligned side by side, right? But what we want it to be aligned column wise, right? So once we specify column, again they came back to the original state. Okay, so this is how you think while you are implementing the layouts in the Flexbox. Okay, so but if you see in our this original text, right? So this is center aligned, right? But if you see here, here this is not center aligned, right? Here it is nicely aligned in a center state. So how do you achieve this? Okay, so there are two properties called justify content and align content. So how does this work? So we will see it in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.